Welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover how you can detect when you're full so that you can stop eating at the right time. We often feel a magnetic force to eat, which can feel like a deep unconscious urge. It's clever because the body does signal for real when you are full. And so it rides on our system knowing that there are signals that are coming from our body about when we're hungry and full. And what it does is basically override them with more powerful or louder signals over time so that we get less good at hearing the real signals, which are kind of quieter. The reality is we love food, right? We love the taste. It's associated with many things, even freedom, eating after the kids go to bed or having full choice over what we're eating or, whatever else, right? We use it to control our state lots of times. We can modulate our blood sugar with it and determine when we're a little bit spaced out or when we're more focused or whatever else. There's all kinds of rewards that we get from eating. What's going on here? What we're really looking for is a feeling in many cases. We're looking for comfort. We're looking for fulfillment. We're looking to fill a void or emptiness. We're looking for pleasure. We're looking for control, and so on. And the important thing about all of these is that these feelings are temporary. And the way to get them and manage them is definitely not with food, right? Because food is just a temporary thing. And it passes, and then we're left back with those feelings again. And, what are we going to do? Oftentimes we loop back around to more food or different food or whatever. And so you get in these sort of vicious cycles that are less than ideal. And of course, as I mentioned, all of these things are very powerful. These are powerful signals, powerful motivators inside of ourselves, right? And they can override more obvious things that we know are not good, like an overstretched stomach, right? Or the discomfort of diarrhea or gastric reflux or, being overweight. Think about what being overweight often brings with it. More fatigue, discomfort in your clothes, joint issues, all kinds of stuff, right? And so why in the world do we allow these things to happen to us? It's because these types of feelings, even though they're temporary, that drive for comfort, fulfillment, filling a void or emptiness, pleasure, control, things like that, they are powerful, powerful feelings that really can allow us to override things that are signals that we obviously know are, telling us, hey, this is not good for you. You're not going in a great direction here, right? And it also overrides how we feel later even, right? We're like, no, this is what matters right now, even though we know that later we'll probably have guilt or, we'll have a terrible feeling when we get on the scale or, we deal with social judgment issues around all of this and so on. But even those things which are coming later are not powerful enough to override where we're at. Well, what we want to do is start bringing some awareness to the eating process itself and to how full you are as you go through it. And one of the best ways to do that is with a simple scale that you can use, starting with you being more or less satisfied, but could still eat a little bit more, but more or less you're satisfied. Now that is actually the ideal point at which to stop. Up from there is a place where you really feel completely satisfied. Up from there is a place where you feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? You've eaten just a little bit too much and there's a little bit of discomfort coming in. Up from that, you might be starting to feel bloated. After that, you might need to loosen your clothes. After that, you might feel so full that you're actually feeling nauseated, right? So a list of things like this while you're eating can be reflected upon, and you can kind of keep an eye on where you're at in the process. And even just that simple bit of awareness can be very, very powerful in helping you to make some fundamental changes in your eating. There are also some other actual physiological signals that you can pay attention to. Hunger signals generally come from the hypothalamus. They come from a part of the brain, and they increase when hungry and they decrease when full. So what are those things? Well, salivation. Believe it or not, your mouth starts to salivate when you start to get hungry. It's not when you have necessarily first presented with food or anything like that. Your body is trying to give you some clues, right? It's like, okay, hey, we could use a little food here. So let's let this person know that. How do we do that? Okay, salivation. Let's increase the salivation in their mouth. Let's increase the stomach acid that they have, right? So your tummy starts to rumble a little bit, right? Let's increase their sense of smell for food and how salient food smells. Let's increase their taste bud activity so the food tastes better. Well, you can also use the decrease of these for signals for when your body starts to tell you that it's had enough. So salivation will actually start to decrease even though you're still eating, right? Stomach acid will sort of reach its maximum point. There's not too much that you'll probably be able to tell there, though certainly you will be able over time to tell when your stomach is getting too full and at what point before it's so full that it's like overextended or whatever, right? The sense of smell and the taste buds are absolutely things that you can pay attention to. How many times have you been really, really looking forward to eating something, and a certain point in, it just doesn't taste as amazing as those early bites did? That's not an accident. That's nature having been designed to tell you when you can start to curtail eating, when it's had enough, when the blood sugar in your system has reached a certain point, and so on. Now, what do you notice about these signals versus something like bloating? Yeah, they're very subtle and gentle. And you're probably used to listening to stronger, even painful signals to tell you when you're getting full or when you are full or when you know you're exceeding full but can still push it a little bit more and get the last little bit of that whatever in, right? So the reality is this is going to take some reprogramming for you to be able to listen to these more subtle and gentle signals instead of the stronger ones that you've been using to guide you up to this point. Remember, full is not uncomfortable. It's not heartburn. It's not pain or discomfort. It's not an upset stomach. It's not nauseous. It's not needing to loosen your clothes. It's not any of those things. Full is a very gentle signal that you need to learn to detect. So you want to stop at the earliest signs of being physiologically full. Learn when enough is enough and stop eating, push the food away. Beyond that point, your body doesn't actually want any more food. Remember, you've probably got plenty of food stored up in your fat cells, no matter how thin you are, unless you're like a marathon runner with like a 2% body fat or something. If you're like the rest of us, chances are your body has plenty to snack on, even if you're not eating food, right? So your next hunger is going to come along soon enough. There is no reason that you've got to get every last morsel in you during this meal or anything like that. There is no food scarcity probably in your life, right? You don't have to clean your plate like your mom maybe told you to, right? It won't help starving children anywhere in the world if you let some food on your plate go to waste. And in fact, there are some beings that it will help, most likely, in your garbage or your compost, if you do that. And that is microbes, right? So you won't hurt any starving children anywhere in the world, but you will feed some microbes. Your body knows what it needs. It will regulate intake if allowed. And sometimes it's going to want one big meal. Other times it might want 5 little ones. Usually, the less you eat at each meal, the more it's going to want. And over time, no matter how much you've ignored your body signals, and no matter how much psychological baggage you bring to the eating process that you've got to unravel, and that we will be unraveling over the course of this program, Your body over time will get to that balance point. It's just a matter of starting with these small steps, beginning with awareness, as we talk about in this video and other ones right now. All right, I'll see you next time.